Hi, this is Jennifer from Positively Learning, and today we're going to quickly go over some things that you can do right away to start a IEP meeting off strong. So whether you are preparing for the first meeting that you're going to lead or participate in, or whether this is your 100th meeting and you just know there's room for improvement, here's a couple of quick and easy things to do. Number one, stating the purpose of the meeting. So whether it is your first meeting as a team, working with a family, or it's your 10th meeting, it's still very important to take the time to say one or two sentences to state the purpose of the meeting. I think this is really especially important when we do have a strong relationship that can feel even a little bit casual. Because we know everybody so well, then we might be chit-chatting before the meeting starts. And this is a great way to kind of signal that professionalism. This is an important meeting. Here's what we're going to do. I think of it as a teaching objective. You state what's going to happen in the lesson, and then at the end of the lesson, you revisit it. It's kind of like bookends. Did we achieve what we intended to do? So an example of purpose would say, we are here today to determine eligibility for this child, or we are here today for this child's annual review, whatever the purpose is. After that, taking the time to introduce everyone. Again, so easy to skip if almost everybody knows each other, but it's still very important to do. It's a common courtesy we can extend. If I was the person who was leading the meeting, I would start with myself so that I'm modeling how we're going to quickly go around the table and introduce everyone. So I would say, hi, I'm Jennifer DeBross, and this is my role, and moving ahead, moving on to the next person. I would do my very best to make sure the family members go next, or an advocate who's there on behalf of the family, and then moving around clockwise or counterclockwise around the table till it comes back to you. The next thing is just starting off asking the family how they're doing. This could be how they're doing that day, that moment in general. It could be specific to the IEP concerns. It could be anything that they want to share. Very easy just to ask, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And it's great information for us to learn, right? So this may be added to the parent input on the IEP, or it may just be how they're doing in the moment. They just had a flat tire on the way here. I mean, good information to know, right? We can always find out more and see where we can be helpful. And then the other thing is just sharing positives. We may have 5 IEP meetings in a row, and it's so easy to get into that efficiency mode, right? Which is great and important. We have a lot to do. We have important reasons to be meeting, but we also have to remember that although it's our 5th meeting that day or that week, it's that family's only meeting for that child at that time. And so we don't want to rush them or make them feel like they're just fitting into the schedule, even though we know time is crunched. So taking the time to share those positives. Hopefully you're starting with those present levels as you're doing this, and you're sharing the results. This has already been sent home in the draft IEP, but there should be positives as well in the present levels, talking about the student, the student's strengths, before just jumping into those areas of concern. Here's a few more things that can help an IEP meeting run smoothly. One is paperwork, just making sure you have it, whatever needs to be there. I don't suggest making paperwork copies for everybody and damaging trees, but having the paperwork that you need to have already prepared. That's just extending respect. I respect your time, and important to do. So having the paperwork that needs to be signed or discussed available. Next up is a meeting agenda, whether that is also part of the paperwork or if you wanted to display it, digitally project it onto the screen or the wall, and that would be fine too. I think that is so important to have the agenda, the different components. We are already aware of it because we're used to meetings, but it's nice for everybody to be on the same page. Could you imagine sitting through a long IEP meeting and having no idea if you're getting close to the end or whether you're halfway through? Just you feel like you have no idea what's going on, that meeting agenda would definitely take care of that feeling, and be sure to stick to it as well. Next up, extra pens. Definitely, we don't want to be just wasting anyone's time searching for pens that work. Just making sure we have a stack there ready to go because we know there's things to sign. Resources for younger visitors like siblings, just maybe a basket of books or something that's safe, for hands-on, or just something. You don't have to go all out. It's not a party, but just something. Most parents are going to say, "Oh no, I'm fine, I'm fine. Like I can multitask. I do this all the time." But we would love to say, relax. We've got this, or at least here's something that can support you, because we really want you to be present and be able to take in this information and ask questions. Next up, tissues. Always important. You never know. This can just be very emotional for all sorts of reasons, good, not good, anywhere in between. And the last is visuals. Anything that's going to help make the information that's being presented more accessible. And so I put an example, a bell curve chart, and I can show you that right away. So these are some free binder cheat sheets. I'll be sure to put a link below so you can grab these. You can see the bell curve right there. I have a couple of different formats that you could just have printed out on color cardstock or paper, or just put them in a sheet protector to have them available. So that's something we did, and we looked at when we were explaining results, because you know how percentiles can seem a little bit confusing as you're going through discussing some of the results from the assessments we've ordered. So be sure to grab those pages as well. All right, did I miss anything? Do you think that there is anything that can be added to kick off an IEP meeting and give it a strong start? Be sure to let me know, and hopefully these tips also helped you. Thank you so much.